Let's run it back to 1990 with the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red Black Tongue. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already, why don't you hit that subscribe button. Originally released in 1990 and worn on the feet of Michael Jordan during the 1990-1991 NBA season before switching over halfway to the Air Jordan 6. You can see great photos within the pages of Sports Illustrated, especially on this cover of this March 1990 issue of Sports Illustrated. You can see Michael wearing the Fire Red Black Tongue right there. You can also see great action shots of Michael wearing the Fire Red Air Jordan 5 throughout the season in the pages of Sports Illustrated, as well as posters that were released at that time. There is a newer poster that was called Genius of Michael Jordan, where you could see Michael in the corner wearing the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red. In 1990, I never owned the original Fire Red Air Jordan 5 Black Tongue. I did, in fact, have the white, red, silver tongue Fire Red behind me for about 2 hours. So if you watch one of my old videos on the Air Jordan 5 collection, which I just posted a few days ago, I reposted an older video. I have a story there about the Fire Red silver tongue. When I found eBay, I did finally acquire Air Jordan 5 Fire Red Black Tongue in its original form with Nike Air on the back. I acquired two pairs. One that was kind of a beat up pair with rips and cracks and very yellow. That one I had in my collection for a while until I upgraded it to a little better condition pair. As you could see in these photos that I have, this one was in immaculate condition. Unfortunately, it wasn't wearable. And when I heard the retros were coming back in the early 2000s and the white Fire Red Silver Tongue and the black Silver Tongue Metallic came out with the Nike Air on the back, I was expecting the Fire Red to eventually release with the Black Tongue with Nike Air on the back. Unfortunately, they stopped producing the Nike Air on the back versions, and I sold all of my original ones. So I was very disappointed that they didn't release it with the Nike Air. I have a few more photos of my Fire Red original 1990 that was in my collection on display on my wall in my room. I always loved the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red Black Tongue. So in 2003, when it re-released, I rushed out to get that newer retro model, but I was quite disappointed that it didn't have the Nike Air on the back, and it didn't have the same materials like the original in 1990. The original upper was kind of a Durabuck, and it was more of like a cream white rather than a white. So the retro that came out in 2003 was very white and very hard. The leather was very stiff. And it also came with a Nike Air Jordan Flight Club tag on the side, which I thought was kind of weird because the Air Jordan 5 wasn't really associated with the Air Jordan Flight Club. The 6 was after. So I did have that model, and I was quite disappointed in the materials on that one. We did get a second release of the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red again, and I believe it was 2014. I can't remember the exact date. If I'm wrong, hit me up in the comments below, but I think it was 2013 or 2014. And that one was like a steel toe boot and very, very heavy, and the leather just wasn't correct. I thought it looked a little better than the 2006 version or 2003. I can't remember the exact date, but correct me if I'm wrong on the dates. I don't really keep track of when exactly the retros came out, but I was disappointed in how bulky that release was, and it also had the Jumpman on the heel, it just doesn't look right without the Nike Air on the back. 2003, I had a pair of the Laney 5s that actually came with the retro card in that one too, and told you a little fact why the Air Jordan 5 was colored in the Laney colorway, which was his high school that cut him in the sophomore year. But the Air Jordan 5 Laney had some decent material on it, so when that shoe got a little beat and I wore it quite a while, I actually customized it to an Air Jordan 5 Fire Red colorway Black Tongue. I don't have any photos left of that customization I did, except for this kind of blurry photo that I have, but that is actually the Laney 5 that I customized myself with Sharpie and red paint. But I thought I did a pretty good job, and I wore that out a few times until it was bald, and I think I sold them on eBay for 20 bucks. But also in 1990, that went along with the Fire Red Air Jordan 5, Chalkline released one of the greatest jackets, in my opinion, of all time. the Chalkline Fanimation jacket with Michael Jordan's signature under the Chicago Bull and Air Jordan kind of poster-like on the back. He is wearing the fire red silver tongue in the picture, but I always thought this jacket would go great with the Air Jordan 5. I never had this jacket in my size that would actually fit me. I had two of them at one point in time. One was thrifted and I found for like $8 at a thrift store, and the other I got off of eBay just to have in the collection. But it is not my size. It definitely won't fit me, but it's one of the greatest jackets to ever be produced. And one great jacket that would look awesome with the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red. Did any of you guys have the Fanimation jackets from back in the day? Not the retro that was released by Mitchell & Ness. This is the original that was made by Chalkline. This is one of my favorite jackets, and I really wish I could get it in a men's size, but definitely can't rock this at 45 years old anymore, but it's such a dope jacket. And one that I have in my collection, and I love it. One of my favorite Air Jordan models of all time is the Air Jordan 5, and I love the Fire Red, and I'm quite excited for the new retro coming in 2025. If you look here at the photos that we're getting, they finally corrected the toe shape. I don't know why it took them so long, and they finally corrected it, and it looks more like the original in 1990 than it does these newer Air Jordan 5s that come out with the square, almost cut on the toe. So I'm quite excited for the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red. I love the Air Jordan 5, and it's my second favorite model of the Air Jordan line of all time. So I'm quite excited for the new release. Let me know in the comments below if you're excited for the Air Jordan 5 Fire Red to come back. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at 4C23. Hit me up in the comments in there if you have any questions about my collection. And until next time.